Hey everybody, welcome to the Dark Sliders podcast with Doug and Brad.
Hi.
I feel like I'm always really excited when I do that, and you just come in with this boring hi.
Because, yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I just keep my excitement. I talk a lot during these episodes, so I just try to keep on the DL until I get
Until we get
going.
very far in.
Yeah, I try. Actually, I don't like to talk during the intros because then I babble so goddamn much on this thing.
Doug, this past week the Bloodborne DLC came out, and anybody who's listened to this before knows that you freaking love Bloodborne
I freaking love Bloodborne.
more than anything on this planet.
No, not anything. I like Kingdom Hearts more,
The
which we
one
discussed in
exception.
episode 32. Or
You even got the number reference. That's
did I?
impressive.
Yeah, I don't think that's the actual number. I just like that we now have like Star Trek trivia where it's like in episode 32, what did you guys talk about? I would love
Except
for I honestly
except
love for somebody to
nobody
go back.
knows anything about our episode.
There's a few people. There's like a few people.
That's true.
I just wish somebody goes back and corrects all of our stuff because I listen to old episodes and like there's stuff that we're just completely wrong about. When we just talk about dates and times and years, like completely wrong. I would just love for somebody to go back and just give us a long list of everything we ever screwed up.
So if you have literally nothing to do,
Hmm.
impress Doug. But
That'd
anyway,
be
you got the
nice.
Bloodborne DLC. You got this. Did you pre-order this? I think.
Sort of. I bought it day one. I thought I was waiting for it to be like a price drop for pre-ordering, and then it just kind of released, and I was like, I think I might have bought it like the day before. There's no pre-order bonus or anything like
Oh,
that
okay.
for it, so yeah, yeah. I really like Bloodborne, but this DLC has taught me that I'm actually like not very good at Bloodborne. This DLC has actually made me quit. And
Wow.
yeah, it's not bad. Okay, I just want to say this DLC is not bad, but I will say this DLC is a lot harder than the base game, which is already a very hard game. So I had started up a second character, not on New Game Plus. I just started a new character a while back, and I started playing through the game again because I just like the game. I wanted to. See, I actually went through this time with a guide to try to find all the stuff I didn't find before. There's actually missed a lot, which is actually really exciting. I started playing the DLC, and I would say I was a good 75% of the way through the base game. And then I started playing the DLC, and I was kind of getting my ass kicked. I was like, "Whoa, what the hell is going on?" Like I like almost near the end of the game. What's this is weird. And I just kept getting my ass kicked. And I was like, this is fine. If you're playing the game, like you're normally just getting your ass kicked that game, like just constantly. So I was doing
I think
fine. I
that's
was
the
doing
point.
well, yeah, kind of, but like I was getting destroyed by like normal enemies, which is not something that happens like
Oh,
when I've already beaten the game, so I understand how Bloodborne works. But I was just getting beat left and right.
gotcha.
I got to the first boss, and it was the first time I was legitimately stuck in Bloodborne, like stuck. And I had that feeling that I haven't had in a long time that I had with Dark Souls, and it was kind of that feeling of like the I hate this game
Hey, you know
feeling.
how I feel.
Yeah, and I just like, oh, it's because I think when people who like Souls games, like when they kind of get into it, they kind of forget that like why people don't like these games because you do get to a point in those games you sort of understand how they work, so you're like not really stuck. Sometimes you're like you'll get stuck on a boss, but not like stuck. And I was stuck on the first boss. The first boss is probably, in my opinion, I got of course anything I say is my opinion, is the worst boss in Bloodborne like I've ever
In the
like.
first boss in the DLC.
Yeah, the first boss in the
Well,
DLC.
don't
So
you have to
like,
like beat a boss to get into the DLC or something like that? I know
no,
there's
no, no.
some back ass way to get into the
Oh,
DLC.
the DLC actually isn't that. They expect. Oh yeah, that's kind of funny. Okay, so the DLC, in order to access the DLC area, I say you need to get maybe 25% of the way through the game, and it's just like there's just a boss you have to beat in the game anyway, and then you get an item, and the item's pretty explicit of where you need to go, and it's like a quick Google search if you need to really look it up. It's not as back asswards as people thought. But anyway, so you can get into the DLC maybe 25% of the way through the game. I got stuck on the first boss. I ended up having to go through the base game all the way up to the final boss before I could actually start the DLC. Like,
To like just level up or
yeah, like I had to level up like all the way until I was just before the final boss in the main game before I was like in like a good enough spot to even like fight the first boss of the
wow.
DLC. Yeah, so this is not. I guess I'm just not used to buying DLC, and I guess it's kind of normal for a lot of DLC to be kind of like after the base game, and it's actually pretty difficult. Which is I just didn't know that. So kind of going in this, it's kind of like a brick wall. So I didn't have fun with that. But I will say this DLC is pretty damn cool if you are properly leveled. So I just get up to the part where you have to fight blank, the final boss. Don't fight him, just do the DLC. But the DLC is so cool. The area that you go in is called the Hunter's Dream. I'm gonna try to not be super spoil. I'm not gonna be. Yeah.
Isn't the Hunter's Dream the place where you go with like the church or whatever?
Oh yeah, sorry. No, the area you go to is called the Hunter's Nightmare.
Oh, so it's like the opposite of the church thing.
Yes,
okay.
It is the opposite. And the concept for this is just, I'm gonna do some like light spoilers. What the concept of the Hunter's Nightmare is that throughout the game you kind of fight blood crazed hunters, and what happens is when a hunter hunts too much, they sort of get a taste for the blood. You fight one of the blood crazed hunters. He's like the second boss, Father Gagas.
Not Gargamel. Gargamel's the Smurfs.
Damn no, but
Father
G. Let's just call him Father G.
Yeah, I actually beat that boss.
Yeah, he's like one of the second bosses. So the concept for this DLC is that when you are a hunter and you go blood crazed, you get sent to this nightmare realm. So what it is, like, you're fighting all the characters you fight, it's kind of like a back in time thing. You fight all of the hunters that came before you. So like all like the base level characters you fight are hunters. Like there's just hunters all over the place. It's actually really, really neat. And it's kind of hard to talk about without spoiling, but the areas you go to are very, very cool. And the story in Bloodborne is always kind of like really, you're never really sure what's going on. But the story for this DLC is super, super creepy. They kind of reveal there's this thing called the Healing Church, which is one of the main churches in Bloodborne. That you sort of learn about, and this kind of reveals the secrets of the Healing Church. And I can't. It's so hard to talk about that without spoiling. But basically, it sets up the fact that the Bloodborne universe is the way it is because people deserved it. If you think about like the apocalypse is like, oh no, all those poor innocent people got blown up. In Bloodborne, they kind of show you it's like, no, all these people got exactly what they deserved.
They're all assholes, so now
yeah. Yeah, exactly. But it's like it's like everybody's an asshole. Nobody was a good guy. And basically a bunch of people started messing with things they didn't understand and all blew up in their faces as it rightfully should have.
Yeah.
And it's kind of cool. Like it's kind of neat, like seeing everybody as a bad guy. That's kind of like really minor spoilers. The original game kind of goes that. I would say if you like Bloodborne, this is more Bloodborne. I would say if you don't like Bloodborne and you think the game is too hard, I would stay far away from this DLC. This DLC is really, really, really hard. And it was the first time I actually had to do co-op. A lot of the bosses are designed around co-op. So some of the bosses they are like almost impossible doing like a single one-on-one, which is what I did for like the entire base game of Bloodborne. But a lot of them are designed for co-op, so it's like almost impossible to play doing them one-on-one. But if you do them with a co-op partner, like there's suddenly super easy bosses. So the bosses are kind of hit or miss. There's one or two really, really cool ones, but I don't know. The bosses are kind of eh. The environments are amazing. It's more Bloodborne.
How big is it?
Get it?
Because I know it's $20 bucks, which seems fairly expensive for DLC.
Yeah, it's I'm gonna spoil the number of areas, so people who are like, this could be a big deal for people who play Bloodborne. There are 3 areas in the game. And if you've played Bloodborne before, you kind of have an idea of how big an area is. So it's pretty big DLC. Like, I'm probably like probably less than that. Probably like 8 hours in or something like that. I'm getting near the end.
That's solid.
Yeah, but it feels solid. Like I feel like I got my $20 out of it. It feels like if I was going to compare to Bloodborne being a $60 game, it feels like a third of that game.
That makes sense then. So $20 makes sense.
Yeah, so I mean, like right now, I think if to get the old Hunters DLC and a base game is like $40. Like, yeah, it's absolutely worth it. If you like Bloodborne, then yeah, it's worth it. It's worth the $20. I don't feel like ripped off or anything like that. I did feel a little like, because it's so hard, like I feel like I only saw like $5 worth of it until like until I got unstuck, and I did end up leveling up and getting through it. But I was like, oh man, if I quit now, I've only seen $5 of my $20. This is ridiculous.
That's exactly how I feel about real Bloodborne. Is man, I saw about $15 worth of that game,
and you can see more of it. You just need to start. If you start as a character from scratch, I think you'd actually have a much better time. Anyway.
So wait. So do over the stuff that already pissed me off to get past the stuff that's currently pissed me off?
Well, I think you just, I think you have a better well, to be fair, like I replay the game and you get through stuff a lot faster and you sort of understand the mechanics. So it's kind of, I don't know. I felt like I kind of destroyed the game my second time through, which is a nice feeling. And I think it'll help you get over the hump that you're currently stuck at.